tell you, life is really interesting right now. I feel like I'm being tested and expanded in every possible way right now. This is my dinner with being nomadic and traveling as I have been the last 2 years. And every time I'm back in Canada, I'm called to just float around and to not root back in. And lately I've been like really wanting to root down and really get a home to relax and to just root. It's been over 2 years since I've been living the hippie gypsy life of just trusting wherever the wind blows me. And now my being is feeling called to root. Like I'm really like, there's this like nesting energy coming up in me, and I just want to call in a home and a place to root down for a little bit, to be in community, to make some friends. And I'm not really sure where that is right now. You know, there's a few places that have been coming up, but I don't know yet. And to be honest, I have no idea. I never have any idea. I may have some ideas, but so many times I think I know where I'm going, and it turns out I don't. So more and more I'm just learning how to surrender and trust where my feet are walking and where my heart is leading me. Today I was walking at this beautiful campground where I am right now. As you can see, my little tent in the background, right on the water. Pretty awesome. Can't complain. I was walking and I was just processing the last week and the last couple days, but especially just the last week, and processing everything that's unfolded and feeling like just a little zony, feeling tired and needing a lot of rest to process and move through all the things that are moving through me. And I was walking just kind of in a zoned state, just so tired, and I was just praying, and I said, Divine Mother, like, show me the way, show me what's next. Because I've been in this void for so long. And what I heard was, you are the way. You are the way. You are creating the way. With every step that you take, you are creating the way, that you're making the path as you go. You're the one driving the ship. You're the one driving the ship. So just trust yourself, because it is the divine within you guiding you, even though it just feels like you, yourself, and me, myself, and I sometimes. Well, most of the time it just feels like I'm aimlessly wandering around life, but I know it's so much bigger than that, and I know that it's not aimless. I know that it's all perfect, but there's some moments when life has been like it has been, where I've been hopping around from house sitting to camping anywhere and everywhere and anywhere, just anywhere really, and then also going to my parents when I feel called to camp in my parents' backyard. And I know this may seem, from the outside world looking in, it doesn't make any logical sense. And even to me, it doesn't make logical sense, but I feel it in my body, and I trust it, because I know, I feel where I'm being called, and I don't understand it, and it doesn't make sense. But like last night, I couldn't sleep, and I just knew that it was time to come camping today, and I woke up and I just knew it was time to go camping. And that's just how that's just how it flows. It's just like I get a feeling and I trust it and I follow it, and I get a feeling and I trust it and I follow it, and I rarely know in advance. It's day of, day before, night before, but it's just like trusting the subtle shifts in the energy and practicing slowing down enough and being present enough so that I can actually feel where my being, where my body is calling me. So yeah, life's been a little bit interesting of trusting the flow. But nobody knows the way. That's the thing. People are pretending to know what's going on in the world. People are pretending to know, pretending that they know what they're doing, and pretending that they know everything. But that's quite the trap. Every time I think I know something, I'm very cautious, because I'm like, if I think I know, like, you're creating a blind spot for yourself. We don't really know anything. And the more we think we know, the more we are limiting ourselves. I've gotten to a point where I realize I know nothing. And I realize that nobody else really knows anything. And nobody else knows the truth. Nobody else has the answers. And they especially don't have the answers for me. So am I going to listen to other people in my external reality that think my life is crazy and think that, yeah, whatever their opinions or thoughts are about my life, am I going to listen to that? Or am I going to listen to the people on social media that are telling you how to live your life? Or, yeah, look to other people and compare my life and compare myself to others to look for answers on how to live my life. And, you know, I did that for a while and I can't do it anymore. My being wants to live my truth, and I don't fully know what that is yet, and that's okay. But the only way to find my truth and to find my path that is true to my heart is to trust where my feet walk, to trust my footsteps and blaze my own trail, blaze my own path. And that's what I'm doing. Even if it means practically living out of my car and having everything I own in my car and living in a tent. Because my being is no longer willing to compromise. And if it feels like a compromise, it's a heck no. I can no longer compromise because it feels like selling my soul. If it doesn't feel good, it's a heck no. So just trusting my inner compass, which is just like feeling my body and feeling what the yeses are and what the nos are. And right now, this is the biggest yes. Right now, just being in nature as much as possible and having my solitude and having my peace to breathe, to literally just merge with the divine, merge with nature, and feel everything I need to feel and let it wash through me, to not be rooted anywhere, to be untethered. And this is what my soul wants right now. This is what feels good right now. This is where I'm happiest right now. Even if it means eating a cucumber with honey mustard on it. This is where my life's at. That's okay. I could change it right now if I wanted, but I don't want to because my being doesn't want to. I could go get a job, but I wouldn't be listening to my being, and I would be compromised, and I'd be selling my soul. So if you're feeling like you have no idea what's happening in your life right now, and you have no idea who you are, what you want, who you're becoming, that's okay. Let my life be an example, or let my life make you feel better about yours, or make you feel not so crazy in what you're going through. Everyone I've talked to that's walking this path, when I talk to them, literally are saying the exact same thing, that they have no idea what they're doing right now. They have no idea who they are. They have no idea what's next. They're in a very similar place of being in this void. And there's moments where we get lost in the story and we freak out and we feel like we're going backwards, or we're stuck, or whatever. But not knowing anything and being in that void is the best place to be. You're in a place of infinite possibilities. That's how I feel. It's like I've left it totally open. I'm not attached to any outcome. I try not to have preferences. Ram Dass talks a lot about this. I try not to have preferences, but once in a while, I have preferences for how I would like the direction of where my life is going. But I also know that by having preferences, I'm limiting myself, or limiting the divine and what the plan could be, because I know the plan for my life and what the divine wants to, how the divine wants to move through my body and create through my vessel is beyond what I can even imagine in this now moment. And if I want to live the most abundant, fulfilling, blessed, in devotion, like best life possible, if I want to live up to my mission, to my full purpose, to why I am here, I know I can't do it on my own. If I want to live up to, if I want to live my mission and do what I came here for, I know it can't be in my hands. I know that it has to be this path of full trust and surrender. And I also know it's not always going to be like that. I know it's always going to be trust and surrender. But I know trust and surrender isn't always going to be looking like living out of my car and camping and roaming around like a gypsy. Because I already feel in the quantum field everything that's coming in for me. I can feel the energy of my new life. I can feel the energy of my new self embodied. I can feel the essence, the energy. I don't know exactly what it looks like. I just know what it feels like. I don't know what I'm going to be doing fully for service. I know aspects of it. I know aspects of it, but I don't have the full picture yet. So I'm just like on my way to the way. I'm walking to the full picture. I am becoming the full picture. It's an embodiment. It is getting clearer and clearer the more I drop attachments and drop identities and stories. Who I think I am, the clearer it is getting of how I can be in devotion to you, to the other aspects of myself, which is you. And right now, pretty much all I'm being asked to do is offer my services, but not like push or market or sell or any of that shit. Make myself available. I'm available, but that's it. To trust the divine, to make myself available and just walk my path. And in that, and while I'm walking my path, to be as fucking real as possible and authentic as possible, and share the truth of my path, even though it's uncomfortable to share it, because then I'm opening myself up to other people's projections and thoughts and opinions about how I'm living my life. But I don't care. I mean, some moments I do care, but then I come back to my center and I remember it doesn't fucking matter what other people think. What other people think about me or my life isn't any of my business. That I just get to trust. And sometimes this is what trust looks like. But you know what? I'll tell you, this feels a heck of a lot better than if I rewind 5 years ago when I was living in a big, beautiful house and driving a BMW and making $150,000 a year and, you know, was a bodybuilder and had, like, you know, I was ripped. I had the body of my dreams. I had a boyfriend. I had the career of my dreams. I had it in my eyes back then. I had it all. And I was miserable. And I was depressed. And I was anxious. And I felt unfulfilled. And all of these things. And I was drinking. And I was all of the things that were like, they weren't it. It just wasn't it. And once I had all of those things and realized and came to the realization that I wasn't happy, it was kind of depressing because it was like, well, what's next? If I have everything I've ever wanted and I'm on the trajectory of, you know, continuing that path of like, okay, the next thing is like getting married and getting the dog and getting, you know, following these like footsteps that everybody else does, which is beautiful if it's actually what your heart wants. But if you're just doing it to follow the steps, like a lot of people are, and like I was, like checking off the checklist, and then the checklist is mostly checked off and you realize you're miserable in the life that you thought you wanted. And even though, yes, I miss having a home, and eventually I know that comes back in, it's not too far off my path before that comes back in, I don't miss everything that came with it. I don't miss working the job that was sucking my soul, that felt so awful in my body, that left me so exhausted with no time to be in nature or do anything that I liked, that it was literally killing me. I wouldn't trade that life back. I know I'm moving forward. I can feel it. Even though on an external level, and even though from the outside looking in, it may look like I'm moving backwards, that, you know, I don't have any of these things anymore. I gave up everything and I'm living in a tent in a car most of the time. But I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it to go back to that life. There was nothing there. It was empty. It was unfulfilling and it was empty and it was killing me. And now, what I have now that I've gained through giving all of that up to go on this journey and to learn about myself and to do everything I've done over these past 5 years, what I've gained is truly valuable. It's true wealth, it's true abundance, it's true value, and it's not value and abundance and wealth that can ever be taken away from me. It is something I've cultivated within me that goes everywhere I go, that is part of who I am. And there's no money that can buy that. This is true wealth, and I would not trade it for any amount of money. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade the comfort I feel within my body. It wouldn't trade the acceptance I feel within my body. It wouldn't trade the love I feel within my body. It wouldn't trade the trust I feel within my body. I wouldn't trade the safety I feel within my body. Everything I have cultivated and have remembered is worth everything that I'm going through now, is worth everything that I have been through. And I would do it all over again if I had the choice. If I had the choice to go back, I would do it all over again. So let this be a testament to, if you're on this path and you don't know what you're doing right now, and you just trust it. Just keep taking the next step forward and trust you're being guided somewhere beautiful. Keep choosing yourself. Keep choosing yourself over and over and over again. and you will eventually get to a destination that is way more beautiful and expansive and fulfilling than you could even imagine. If this right here, right now, if this feels more fulfilling than when I was driving a BMW and had a big house in the suburbs and making a bunch of money and never had to worry about where my next meal came from or anything like that, if this feels way more fulfilling and abundant than that did, I can't even imagine. I mean, I can imagine because I can feel it sometimes, because I can feel it sometimes, but like, I can only imagine what it's going to feel like when I have further along on my path, when I am living the life I am meant to live. I mean, I'm living the life I'm meant to live now, but you know what I mean, when I'm further along in my path and I'm living my dharma. We're always living our dharma in a way, but like when I'm doing the thing I know I'm meant to be doing, which I don't fully know what I'm meant to be doing, when I'm, you know, rooted and I have my a house again, and when I have, like, I can't even imagine, they're just the cherry on the top of the cake, they're just the bonus. Life is already feeling amazing, and it's getting more and more and more amazing from the inside out. And I know it's just a matter of time before the external matches the internal. And though I have no complaints about the external right now, I know it just keeps getting better. If this is now my baseline, this is not my baseline. This is my threshold of like, it can only get better from here. So trust where you're led, trust where you're going, trust where you are. Everything you need is always exactly where you are. Always. Always, always, always. Today I randomly felt called to go to this cafe, even though I didn't want anything, but obviously you can't go to a cafe and not buy anything. And I went to a cafe on my way to come camping, and I just had a conversation with the cashier that was there, and I could feel after the conversation was over, it was about Christianity and stuff like that, and religions. I just knew that that conversation was meant to happen after I left. So it's like, Alyssa, the character, thinks she's just going in for a coffee, not a coffee, but a tea, whatever, thinks she's just going in for a tea and making a decision to just go in for a tea, and then ends up having this conversation, this interaction that is powerful, that needed to happen. I don't even know why it needed to happen, but I felt in the moment, and I felt afterward, oh, okay, that's why I was meant to go there. And I've learned to just trust those little inklings. If I feel a calling to go to a certain store, I feel a calling to go there, or I feel a calling to call someone or text someone, whatever, I trust it all, even if it doesn't make sense, because I know there's always a bigger reason. So, yeah, everything in your life is always being divinely orchestrated for you, in your favor, for your highest good and your highest expansion and your liberation. The only thing you have to do is trust and surrender. It's already all done. It's easy. We are the ones that make it difficult. Our programming, our addiction to chaos, our addiction to suffering, our addiction to the mind. We just need to take our power back. Learn how to be present, let go of the mind, let go of the stories, get into the body, dance a little bit, wiggle around, you know? Go swim in a lake. Go live your life and let things work themselves out. Stop interfering so much, you know? You create so much resistance, you know? This is, I'm talking to myself too, like, I create so much resistance for myself And it's always when I get in my head, when I'm out of my heart and out of my body and I've gotten into my head a little bit, and then things are a little bit wonky and unbalanced, and I create kind of hell for myself. And then I feel it and I'm like, frig, I did it again. And just practice. We're becoming masters of our own reality. Masters of our mind, masters of our body. And every day we're in training. Every day we are taking, as Ram Dass says, the curriculum. Anyway, before you judge my snack, you should try it. It's delicious. Just honey mustard, not too bad ingredients, pretty clean, and a cucumber. I'm usually a lot more creative with my meals, but I'm raw vegan, but I have all these kind of delicious, amazing recipes. But when you're camping, it's not as easy without a kitchen. You need a blender and stuff. So it's pretty much just fruits and the raw cucumber here and there. Anyways, if you stuck around this long, thanks for listening to my ramble. I hope it helped. I hope if you feel lonely or crazy or whatever at this time in your life, that you find some peace in my video, some comfort, some connection, some friendship, whatever. To know that you're not alone and we're all going through it in our own way. But we're all moving through the craziness, whether we admit it or not. And this is why I try my best to just show up and share honestly with what I'm moving through. Because I know how much it helps me when other people are honest about what they're moving through and are just like, whoa, things are whack right now. Just say it how it is. Speak the truth. Be honest with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't run away from it. Just be yourself and be true to yourself. Anyhow, I'm gonna go now, do a little sunset swim before I tuck myself in to my tiny little tent and probably have the best night's sleep ever. Listening to the river behind me, the crickets and the wind in the treetops. Sounds like a dream, right? Bye.